Let's talk about the morning of September 23rd, 2019. What did you do that morning?
I got up to get ready to go, then I went downstairs to say goodbye to everybody.
Okay. And who was there?
Melanie Gibb and Lori Vallow.
Okay. Did you see JJ there?
No,
Did you talk to Lori about JJ that morning?
I did.
What did she tell you about JJ that morning?
She said that he was being a zombie and climbed up on the cabinets, climbed up on top of the fridge, smashed her picture of Christ down, and then climbed up onto the upper cabinets and got between the top of the cabinet and the ceiling.
Okay. And then what did she tell you?
I asked to see him, and she just said that he was out of control, so she had Alex come and get him.
And who was Alex?
Lori's brother.
Okay. Is that Alex Cox?
Yes.
Okay. State has no further questions, Your Honor.
Cross-examination. Mr. Pryor, if you'll please speak as close as you
All right, let's see what the cross-examination will bring. We'll take a break, be right back after this. Welcome back to our special coverage of the preliminary hearing of Chad Daybell versus the state of Idaho. We are just about to see what Chad's attorney, John Pryor, is going to do on cross-examination with Melanie Gibbs' boyfriend, David Warwick. Here we go.
close as you possibly can to that microphone. I think it's going to be a lot easier to hear.
And Mr. Warwick, at any time you don't understand my question, would you please ask me to state it again, please, sir, would you?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Warwick, would it be a fair statement that Mr. Daybell only showed up the entire weekend from the 19th to the 23rd at Lori Vallow's apartment one time?
That's what I can remember.
Okay. So to suggest, or if anyone suggested that he was in and out of there multiple times, that's just not a true statement, would it? Is that correct?
I'm not sure about that either. I know I saw Chad throughout the weekend at least 3 times. I'm trying to remember if it was twice at Lori's or other places, because we went to other properties.
But when someone suggests multiple times, that means more than 3 or 4 times, and that's
Objection. It means more than once in the foundation, and it's testimonial.
Hold up. So, Mr. Warwick, if there's an objection, if you'll make sure to stop testifying, I'm going to rule on the objection, and then we'll ask you to continue forward.
Okay.
The question was multiple times insinuates 3 or 4 times, something to that effect.
more than 3 or 4 times, Judge.
More than 3 or 4 times. Mr. Wood, your objection?
That's testimonial.
Mr. Pryor, do you wish to respond to that?
Well, it's not testimonial, it's a question, and for us to clarify what the fact that there may have been a suggestion he was there multiple times, I get to clarify that.
He doesn't get to create new definitions for words, Your Honor.
I'm not trying to create new definitions for words. I'm trying to clarify what all of the testimony in this case is, and I'm entitled to do that.
Mr. Pryor, why don't you ask the witness what his definition of multiple times is, and then you can go from there.
Mr. Warwick, what is your definition of multiple times?
More than once.
Okay. So 2 times is multiple times.
Yeah, 2 times to be multiple times.
Okay.
And I'm just trying to be going off the best of my memory,
Okay.
to be honest.
And I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. There was one of those multiple times, the 2 or 3 times you saw Mr. Daybell was viewing a piece of property. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that was at what time? That was on the Sunday, the 22nd?
It was a Sunday. It was Sunday. I can't remember if it was late morning or afternoon.
And who was present at that real estate discussion?
First it was Lori Vallow, Alex Cox, Melanie Gibb, and then Chad showed up later with a realtor.
Okay. And where was that located, that discussion and that meeting?
It was,
May I offer a suggestion to
I'm
you?
trying to,
May I offer a suggestion that it was at a piece of property close to Chad Daybell's?
yes,
So at that point, Ms. Vallow and your girlfriend at the time, Ms. Gibb, were there. Then you showed up, and then Mr. Daybell showed up with a real estate agent and himself. So there were 5 of you there, is that correct?
yes.
Okay, and how long of a meeting was that, sir?
I'd estimate 30 minutes.
Okay, and when did that meeting end approximately? And I don't need an exact idea, but a ballpark as to when you felt that meeting ended.
I really don't recall.
Okay, and then after that meeting was it late afternoon, early afternoon?
I really don't recall. I'm
Okay.
trying to.
Was it in the morning?
If it was morning, I would say it was late.
Okay, but at some point the meeting ended, and then did Mr. Daybell go back to Lori Vallow's apartment at that point?
No,
Did Ms. Vallow and your girlfriend go back to Lori Vallow's apartment?
well, everybody had separate cars, so we all just kind of went our different directions.
Okay. At some point, did all of you meet back at Lori Vallow's apartment that evening?
Please repeat.
I'm sorry?
I couldn't understand the question.
At some point later that evening, did you, Ms. Vallow, and your girlfriend, Ms. Gibb, go back to Lori Vallow's apartment that night?
Yes,
And you did a podcast, is that correct?
yes.
And that was what day, sir?
Sunday night, the 22nd?
Okay, and on Sunday night, the 22nd, did you see J.J. Vallow?
No,
Did you stay with your girlfriend the entire time during that podcast?
yes,
And she was with you the entire time, is that correct?
yes,
So if you didn't see J.J. Vallow, the likelihood is that she wouldn't have seen J.J. Vallow either. Would that be fair, sir?
Calls for speculation, objection.
can I ask a clarification? Oh, sorry.
Hold up there, Mr. Warwick. There's been an objection, calls for speculation. Mr. Pryor, I'll give you a chance to respond to that objection.
Judge, I'm asking what his perception is as to whether or not he was with her the whole time, and whether, is it possible that she could have observed J.J. Vallow on that night, being that he was with her the entire time during the podcast? I don't think that's inappropriate in any way, Your Honor.
I will allow the question. Why don't you please repeat it very clearly so Mr. Warwick understands it?
And Mr. Warwick, since you were with Melanie Gibb the entire time during that podcast, if she were to say that she saw J.J. Vallow, you would have seen J.J. Vallow as well. Would that be fair, sir?
Yes,
Objection calls for speculation.
It does not, Judge.
Overruled.
Now, at some point, over the weekend, this is a 3-bedroom townhome, is that correct?
yes,
Well, Ms. Vallow was staying in one room, right?
yes,
And you were staying in another room, correct?
yes,
Was anybody else staying in any of the other rooms?
yes.
Who?
Melanie,
And whose room was she staying in?
Tylee's,
Okay, and you were staying in whose?
JJ's.
Okay. Are you aware of whether or not your girlfriend has any kind of an auditory disorder or been diagnosed with a hearing difficulty?
Please repeat.
Are you aware of whether or not your girlfriend has any kind of an auditory or hearing disorder of any kind?
Objection beyond the scope, relevance.
Mr. Pryor?
Judge, it goes to perception of whether or not either of them can hear properly. I think it's proper examination. Ms. Gibb had testified a certain way, and I want this witness to confirm that. And I think I'm I think I'm perfectly within my right to inquire about that.
With the objection beyond the scope, there was no direct examination of this witness about an auditory disorder of Ms. Gibbs, so I will sustain the objection.